soul who stepped to this mic shared some priceless gifts to empower our life. And tonight, my job is to give you a taste of what's inside a book that really will be changing lives. You see, whether it's drink or drugs or you're addicted to the lot, Ian's the guy to find if it's time to stop. Because he's got a story that proves truth is stranger than fiction, from which was born sober services and its living big mission. But listen, Ian's book, it's not about this is wrong and this is right. It's about inspiration, hope, laughter and life, which for Ian began one November tea time back in 1971. He distinctly remembers thinking, this is going to be fun. And at the age of 9, he enjoyed his first drink and snog. And you can suggest this was the start of the problems because Ian anchored the bliss of the kiss to the sip of the booze, which with his passion for women meant the drink was always abused. Such as the time, aged 11, drinking to impress his favourite aunt, but it turns out puking on himself was the height of his charm. Now by secondary school, alarm bells were certainly ringing. Drunkenness, fornication, bullying, and the clear beginning of an anti-authority streak that saw Ian led to expulsion from home and school and Ian's rapid propulsion into the hippie lifestyle that had always been his dream, with daily doses of weed, speed, ease, and LSD. Yet somehow, despite being homeless, Ian's elected president of his local college. He's a firebrand, vocally asserting his version of libertarian knowledge. He even had an office, from which he obviously dealt loads of drugs, which was his way of contributing toward the movement of peace and love. But enough was enough when the poll tax came. Ian protested, was arrested, and had his day in court. And through all this was brought into contact with London's raving scene, where he encountered not just cocaine and ketamine, but a whole new tribe of sound systems, users and ravers, plus the designer drugs that clearly Ian was happy to save him. He became the go-to guy, the free party venue finder, plus of course the choice narcotic provider. It was a time of pushing the limits, of doing everything huge, of organising free parties so large they made headline news. But soon, it was time to jump before he was pushed into jail. Amsterdam the destination as Ian skipped bail. Never failing to land on his feet, he made his way to Berlin, in time to feel the vibe and see reunification begin. But Ian's next style, his exploits, were just truly balmy. Namely, stealing trucks and equipment from the Russian army. Picture him and his chums unloading chairs from the truck they're planning on stealing. Ian looks up and his stomach gets that sickening feeling, because marching toward them are a line of rifle-toting soldiers. Ian and co think their lives will soon be over. But the soldiers barely register the thieves' terrified stares. Instead, they calmly march past them and pick up the chairs. Well, they made their escape swift and in time arrived at one of those techno parties that so defined that moment in Ian's crusty, unwashed, drug-fueled life, where eating and sleeping were just pauses amid the wild nights. And after a great time with the ravers of France and Spain, Ian found a new constant companion in the form of cocaine. He became a DJ just to stay close to the drug, and found he enjoyed being the centre of the dance's attention and love. But he was using heroin to soothe the coke paranoia peak, which meant Ian was headed down one seriously dark one-way street that included smoking crack, drinking opium tea, and then finding a vein to stick in a needle or three. He tried to get clean numerous times, but in truth, he was just switching drugs to find a different high. He could no longer deny he'd become someone he truly despised, living a life of petty crimes, cheating, deceit, and lies. He was dying, in body, soul, and mind, and it was time for a change. So he wrote a letter to God on his darkest day. And right away it seemed the opportunities came to be ridding his body of drugs and his soul of shame. For the first step to taming the beast is to admit you need help. With his sister as nurse, Ian surrendered himself. And then the 12-step program with Dr. Robert Lefevre, where after a relapse and overdose, Ian got clean and was eager to keep it that way. But it takes more than just a firm decision. It's a daily battle that became his lifelong mission, giving him a higher purpose, a dedication to service, discovering how the server benefits even as they are serving. For recovery, is about so much more than stopping the drink and the drugs. It's about a second chance to advance in absolute love. An addict must surrender, admitting their powerlessness to the addiction's affliction, and then seek to serve and share with steadfast commitment. Like Ian, attending 90 12-step meetings in 90 days, where he learnt not only how often to change his pants and bathe, but also that those who completed the 12 steps had this incredible force, and they unashamedly said that God was its source, who is the power more powerful than the powerlessness of an addict. And if Ian was ready and willing, of course he could have it. And this was when the deep recovery work really began, under the guidance of Nick the Saint, who in truth was just a decent man. Ian surrendered, prayed, wrote, spoke, made amends to all he previously harmed, whether strangers or friends. And always, the end and the beginning is giving service to others. So we wrap this up by noting how Ian's become a mentor to so many, a life changer to some, because sober services is where their journey of recovery begun. As for Ian, well, he's summited Kilimanjaro twice and found an amazing wife who loves her dog, and Ian knows that in whatever he does, the one who's in charge is God. Ian's job is co-creating a world that's harmonious and beautifully green, contributing to others so they can live their dream. He's a guy who's been from living hell to living big, who knows it's not about me, it's about how we love and give.
Unfortunately, when the music starts, we don't have a license for people under 16, so we have to encourage everyone with kids to go upstairs. But the good news is, we're dining upstairs, there's food, so stick around and stay and eat. I need to thank everybody who's been here today. There's a bag behind you, Steve. You've got it. Okay. This is going to get embarrassing. I'm going to thank people privately. Just know that I'm going to thank people. And yeah, I'll thank people privately. Any questions? Please stay and eat. And we've got Steve and Fish will be playing reggae, R&B, and if you're still dancing, I might play some house at that tempo. Any questions? Don't smoke crack.